So I want to thank John for his lifetime of work on this issue. He has laboured outside and inside the fold of the Conservative Party to push for democratisation. And I encourage all of you to get on board with it, because it is simply inevitable. We are one of the parents of democracy in the world, and it's about time that our party of government starts acting like it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ben. So, I think we're beginning to run out of time, but very quickly, John Strafford, Campaign for Conservative Democracy. The one story that you should know about him this year is that this man didn't just write the stuff, he's actually tried to enact it. This is the guy behind the vote of confidence in Dominic Grieve in Beaconsfield, for which he was shamefully written out, pretended it was entryist, not by the Sunday Express, I should know.
Good morning, friends.
Hi.
Good morning. Hi, fighting friends for democracy. Fighting for democracy at a national level. Fighting for democracy for the people of the United Kingdom, and fighting for democracy within the Conservative Party. What worthier objects can there be? I am going to indulge in, because time is short, in a bout of nostalgia. I'm going to go back to 1982. In 1982, in my constituency in Beaconsfield, the Member of Parliament, Ronald Bell, died, and we had a by-election, and we had to organise the by-election. In those days, the local constituency association organised the by-election. They took advice from central office, but unlike today, they kept control. A by-election today, central office takes over, local associations, nothing to say. So what happened? First of all, Beaconsfield at that time had 6,500 members. Today, it's got 1,500 members. It advertised the seat, and it had over 300 applications. The officers of the association went through the 300 applications and reduced it down to 30. The 30 applications then went to a committee of all the branch chairmen, and at that time there were 20 branches, and they reduced it down to 15. The 15 that were left in it went to the Executive Council of the Association, of which there were 120 members of it, and they reduced it down to 6. And the 6 were interviewed by the Executive Council together with every local person that wanted to be a candidate. Because they took the view, quite rightly, that if a local person wanted to be a candidate, they had the right to be interviewed. Because a local person, if you dismiss them without that interview, they go away bitter, whereas if they have the interview and lose it, they at least feel that they've had a chance, and so they will work for you. The Executive Council interviewed the 6 plus the local candidates and chose 2 to go to a general meeting of the association, and over 500 people turned up at that general meeting. And guess what? A vote was taken between the 2 candidates, and it was a tie. But that had been thought through, and so the person who got the nomination was the one who had the highest votes of the Executive Council. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is democracy at work. That is what we should have today, and which sadly has all been taken away from us. Because now, since 1998, a new constitution, the local constituency association has virtually no say on selection of candidates at all. Because central office totally centralised control of the candidates list, as they did after 1998 by abolishing the motions at the party conference. They have created a central bureaucracy in our party and taken all the rights away from the membership. This has got to change. Central office determined that unless you're on the candidates list, then you couldn't stand for Parliament. And they controlled that list because they had a very bad experience with Neil Hamilton in Tatham. And just to enforce it, when the in 2005 general election, when Howard Flight wished to stand for his association in the general election, and he had his constituency behind him, then Michael Howard sent Leon Fox down to tell them that if they continued to support Howard Flight, then the association would be put in support and they wouldn't be able to put up a Conservative candidate. So who controls this candidates list? Well, in theory, ultimately, the party board. But the party board consists of the party chairman, the deputy chairman, the chairman of the 22 committee, none of whom are in their positions as a result of election by the members of the party. And it is the party board that chooses the candidates committee. And we have heard that that committee determines not only who should be on the list, but also the process to be followed to become a candidate. They can manipulate the process, they can intervene and put into that process the kind of candidate that they wish to have. They can decide their views as to what is an ideal candidate. And I have to say, in the 20 years before 1998, when this constitution came in, we had 5 general elections and we won 4 of them, and that was when local associations were choosing their candidates. In the 5 general elections since 1998, the central office and that bureaucracy have been controlling the candidates list. We've had 5 general elections and we won 1 of them. Who do these people think they are, that they're capable of choosing Tory candidates better than local membership of this party? What were they doing? What were they doing when they were choosing people like Anna Soubry and Heidi Allen and all these others? They weren't Conservatives. As John Hayes has said, you know, these people don't even understand what Conservatives are about. And we have got to really change this now. If we really want to have democracy in the Conservative Party, we've got to tackle this issue. We must have an annual general meeting to which all members of the party are invited, and at which the officers of the party are elected by the membership. We must be able to change the party's constitution. Do you know, they have been talking about changing the party's constitution and having meeting after meeting after meeting for 5 years. Lord Feldman started it. For heaven's sake. You know, what kind of operation is it? And I saw yesterday, the candidates department, Amanda Sater, came to speak to the National Convention, but wasn't allowed to have question and answer session afterwards. And then she showed all the people that she controls now. There are about 10 of them. What is going on with these kind of little fiefdoms that have been created now in that bureaucracy? So, I finished because we need to have some question time. I said this to you. We have got to get out of Brexit. Got to get out of the European Union. We have then going to fight and win a general election, And then we must turn our minds to reforming the Conservative Party and make it a genuine democratic party for the 21st century. Let us ride this rainbow of opportunity. Let us find that pot of gold at the end of it, which has got a label on the pot saying democracy, for the people, for the members of the Conservative Party. This is our objective. This is what we must try and achieve, and this is what we will achieve, because we're going to win in all three cases. Thank you.
Another great man, David Campbell-Bannerman, formerly an MEP, one of our better MEPs, until the last election. David.
Thank you, David. And I'm patron of the campaign for conservative democracy, and I'd like to thank all the CCD people here and John for the great work they do behind the scenes, and the Bow as well. I was chairman of the Bow years ago. But David, thank you. I was going to say thank the panel for excellent speeches and for your support, particularly for an elected party chairman. Because it seems to be that is the nub of all of this. If you're an elected party chairman, democracy does flow. I was told by Patrick McLaughlin personally that he was not consulted about the last general election. I don't think that would happen with an elected party chairman. I don't know what you think. But can I just ask the panel, what difference would an elected party chairman make, do you think?
Steve, would you like to?
I think the main difference that the elected party chairman would make is to bring about a genuine and justified sense of engagement in our party at the very highest levels. Can I just make a plea while I've got the microphone on the floor, because I know time is running short? We've got to make conservatism attractive. Can I make a plea to everybody to smile a bit more? I'm happy to be a conservative. You know, I'm a conservative because I'm a classical liberal, which is slightly different to John, probably makes him wince a bit. But I'm very, very happy to be a conservative. And I think this sort of joy needs to be radiated a bit more. I think the main difference that an elected chairman would make is that we'd suddenly be much more comfortable with who our party was. And I hope that therefore, instead of coming together to have a groan about what the party is doing, we might therefore be a bit more comfortable that we have consented to the chairmanship of the party and the direction we will take.
Listening to what's been said, I think the most important thing is getting control of the confidence. If you look at the position we're in at the moment, we've got direct democracy where the country voted for one, and we've got a parliament that 85% of them have voted for parties, or stood for parties where we were coming out, but they won't do it. And the reason is because the people who are in parliament. And that is the one fundamental thing we've got to change. If we can't change that, whoever's party chairman and the rest of it doesn't matter. So what I would say is put that top of the list, because getting any changes could be difficult, but to get the choice of candidate and stop this fix where the establishment controls the whole thing would be the best thing.
Very quickly. I totally agree with you, but look at what's happened in Beaconsfield. In Beaconsfield, twice this year, at general meetings of the whole association, votes of confidence against their MP, Dominic Green. He's lost both votes of confidence. We tried to get a process for selecting the new candidate started, and Central Office have stopped it. And we have written, letters have been written to the previous party chairman, Brandon Lewis, and he doesn't reply. The current party chairman, James Cleverly, he didn't reply. And so at yesterday's National Convention meeting, I put the question to James Cleverly on the platform. And he waffled around and said, and eventually he was pushed by Ian Dale to say, look, aren't these people entitled to know when you're going to take a decision so that they can start selecting their candidate? Because we could have a general election in a month's time. And James Cleverly he ended up saying, well, I think you've got my pay grade. Hey, how can it be above the party chairman's pay grade? And do you think that he would have given that answer if he'd been elected by the members of the party and all the members were there sitting in front of him? No, of course not.
I'm going to take one more question. I'm sorry, I've only got a chap at the back.
Yeah, thank you very much. In business, if you're on probation and you're doing a very good job, and you go in front of the manager, then you get promoted or you get that job permanent. Now, in 2016, we had a colour the candidates list, where we had good candidates fighting rubbish seats where they knew they weren't going to win, but it's probation for them to get ahead, to get to a better seat, and a more safer seat. But that didn't happen. In 2016, we culled very, very good candidates, and surely that cannot be right.
Well, I'm going to just comment on that very briefly. When I was selected in South London meeting, by exactly the method you've heard, 300 applicants, shortlist and all the rest of it, I'd already been in the past. I was 37. I've been in the past since I was 14. I've been a county councillor for 12 years. I was chairman of the underserviced. I was chairman of the university service. I have pedigree. Anybody who stands for the Centre Party in a parliamentary election should have a long political pedigree and a record of service to the party. And the reason that's not happening, we've adopted all kinds of politically correct nonsense about identity rather than belief. It's not what somebody is, it's what they believe in.
Actually, Diane, do you want to make one last comment?
Okay, thank you very much, David. I mean, I agree with the questions that the candidates is the route through to what we should be looking at. And as I said, I think that we do need to be electing the chairman of the candidates committee. And I am actually concerned of actually at the process that people actually are sort of schooled through the process to come out sort of as if you're going for a management consultant rather than actually a politician. And the selection lists, as we know, we're actually guided as to who we should actually be choosing. Also, when we've actually had candidates stand for us in general elections, you've often got chairmen who are candidates themselves. So they're not going to write an honest review of that candidate. So I think if they're a candidate, they should actually be sort of taken out of that process completely. So I also sort of look at how the candidates are spun around the country, which I understand because, you know, we've got by-elections and we need to fight and we need to win. But I'm worried that candidates are not actually grounded in doing day-to-day work like the rest of us are. And I have said for a long time, but nobody's taking notice, is that the candidates should actually have a third referee that should be a home association where they actually have to demonstrate that they're actually out with the teams in their local, in their home association, week after week, and they're taking responsibility and they're building up their association, not just turning up somewhere for a photo because they think that they might actually get selected there.
Just want to say again, thank you very much for this excellent panel.